Hello, this is Eric. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use Audacity, the sound editing software, to create a wavetable for playback in wavetable-capable synthesizers. Now, the source for the waveforms that go into the wavetable is a Korg DW-6000 dump of its internal waveforms. So a lot of the old synthesizers had their waveforms on a ROM chip. So you can find dumps of those online. You can even create them yourself, so if you have the right tools to do so. In this case, I found the dumps online. I've also got like the Korg, I guess it's an 8000 model as well, and ridiculous amounts of other samples. Any of them you can really use to create wavetables with. So here we go. We've got Audacity up and running. The first thing we've got to do is import the files. Now, I didn't say open, I said import, and that's for a very specific reason. The files are just pure PCM data. They don't have a wave header or any type of audio header associated with them. So Audacity doesn't know what to do with them unless you import them and tell it what it is. So we're going to go to the import menu, go to raw data. I'm already in the right directory. So I've got two files here. They're both 32K. That kind of gives you a clue about how things were working in the 80s. 32 kilobytes was a very common size for a ROM chip. One other thing I'll point out about these ROM chips is you can make your own and change the waveforms in vintage synthesizers and drum machines. Now, when we import this data, we're presented with some options here. Different types of encoding, byte orders, channels, etc., sample rate. These are single channel, so we're going to be mono. We'll go with the default endianness. With 8-bit data, it doesn't matter. There's no concept of little or big endian anyway. One thing that's important, though, is to select unsigned 8-bit PCM data. What that means is all of the bits are used for the audio data, as opposed to one of them being reserved for a sign to say whether it's a positive or a negative number. The sample rate doesn't matter. We're going to import everything, so these other default values are fine. So there's the first one, and you can tell looking at it right away, these kind of look like waveforms. And you see some regular patterns in them, and you should. And these patterns, if we measure them in the number of samples, we can see pretty easily a little over 2,000 samples. I'll tell you, they're actually all going to be 2,048 samples. Now, we had a 16 kilobyte file, so what that means is I'm going to have 16 of these 2K samples. Now let's open up the other one as well. So we import it exactly the same way, and there we go. Now we can give these a listen. Audacity will play these now that it knows roughly, what it is. There we go. Let's listen to this other one. Kind of weird, huh? But trust me, we can turn these into a wavetable and play them back in a modern synthesizer. Now, one thing I do want to show you. If you imported these wrong, you'd be able to figure it out right away. And here's why. Say I imported them as signed data. Looks pretty different. And it's going to sound horrible. So you know something's wrong with that. So what am I going to do with these? You know what? I'm going to combine these into one file. So I go to the end. I'm going to want to zoom in a little. Make sure I'm really at the end. And then paste them. Okay. Now, We'll zoom back out, see what we've got here. So now we've got this one big chunk. Measure it all, and we see now we have 64 kilobytes worth of data. So now I can export this. We'll call this combined. Now we want to make sure that it's sent out as unsigned 8-bit PCM, because I'm putting a wave header on it. That's something that Audacity is going to do. It's creating the wave header for it right now because I've chose a Microsoft Wave file format. Sample rate doesn't matter. Now we hit export. That's it. I've got a new file. It's a wavetable. So now I can take them and put them in a synthesizer.